today we will continue with the topic which we have left yesterday. Okay, so atomic radius we had discussed for the periodic table, and in atomic radius we had seen that because atomic radius cannot be calculated directly, so what we have to do is we have to calculate it indirectly with the help of other parameters like covalent radius, van der Waals radius and metallic radius. Okay, along with that we have discussed about the trend of these properties in the periodic table and the factors which decide these. We have discussed two factors mainly. One is atomic number of shells in the atom are increasing, that will result in the increase of atomic radius, and second factor from left to right in periodic table we had seen that because of increase in nuclear charge atomic radius always decreases. Okay, these two things in periodic table we had discussed about the trend. Okay, I told you that in periodic table if we start from hydrogen to helium, okay, then lithium, boron, beryllium, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. Okay, now we had seen that when we go from left to right, we said that because electrons are being added in the same shell, then because of this what will happen, that the nuclear charge is increasing and atomic radius will go on increasing. So according to that, group number 17, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. This is group number 17. This group should have the minimum value for atomic radius. Okay. In every period if we see, we will find that halogens have the minimum value for atomic radius and alkali metals, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. I told francium is radioactive element, so the data of francium is not available, but according to rule what should happen? That according to rule its atomic radius should be maximum. Okay. See, if you are asked that which element has the maximum value for atomic radius, the answer will be cesium. Okay. If you are given options in multiple choice that out of 1, 2, 3, 4, which element should have highest value for atomic radius, then answer will be francium. Should have and which has, it is different. Okay. It should have, but its value is not known to us because it is a radioactive element. So we always answer for cesium if you are giving one word answer. In multiple choice question, if francium is available as a choice, then you will mark this. Clear? Now I told that when we are going from left to right, halogens should have the minimum value for atomic radius, but I told that fluorine does not have the minimum value. According to this, what should happen in this particular group? When we move from top to bottom, atomic radius should go on increasing, and as a rule fluorine should have the minimum value of atomic radius, but it does not have. Helium is the element, though it is not a halogen, it is a inert gas, but helium has the smallest value. Okay. So when it comes for smallest value of atomic radius, the element is helium. Okay. But in a particular period, if we will talk always, then this particular period will have the value of each halogen atom minimum in each individual period. Is it clear? Overall in the whole periodic table if you are asked, then helium has the smallest value for atomic radius. Is that clear? Okay, now after atomic radius we will discuss about ionic radius and then we will move to the next property. Okay. Now I will write ionic radius. Now what is ionic radius? We know that all elements form ions. Okay, either they will form positive ion or they will form negative ion. So when we talk about positive ions, so we will take example of sodium. Sodium atomic number is 11. Okay. Now sodium, by losing its electron, minus 1 electron, then sodium will become Na positive. And why sodium will lose 1 electron? We know this thing because it is 2, 8 and 1. This 1 electron it wants to lose to become stable, having 2 and 8 in the outermost shell. Okay. Now when it is losing, it is becoming Na positive. When it is Na positive, that means what? When sodium is having atomic number 11, that time proton number is 11, electron number is also 11. When sodium becomes Na1 positive, then in that case what happens? Proton number is still 11, but electron number is now 10. Okay. What is happening? We had made the structure. This is nucleus, proton plus neutron are here. These are 3 shells. First is having 2 electrons, second one is having 8 electrons, and third one is having 1 electron. Now this 1 electron is lost when it is forming Na1 positive. Then what is happening? 11 protons are pulling 10 electrons. In this case, when Na was atom, 11 protons were pulling 11 electrons. Now more protons are pulling less electrons. Okay, that means the positive pull is more than the negative. So because of that, the further shrinking. One case is this, that because electron from this shell is lost, so this shell is also not present. It completely disappears. Automatically the atomic size becomes less. Even if shell does not disappear, then also when the number of electrons are less and number of proton are more, the pull will be more, just like as in tug of war. Okay, one side more participants, other side less participants, then definitely where the more power is there, it will be pulled in that side. Same is happening here. More protons are pulling less electrons, so the size will shrink, become more small. So for the same atom, if it forms a positive ion, that is cation, then atomic radius now becomes ionic radius, or you can also call it as cationic radius. Now because it is a cation. Okay. So what was atomic radius has now become ionic radius. Specifically we can call it as cationic radius. Okay. Now this radius, cationic radius, is always smaller than atomic radius. This statement we have always to remember. Reason what you will give for this? You will not give the reason that shell disappeared so the size become less. This is a wrong reasoning. The correct reasoning is that because more protons are pulling less electrons, attracting less electrons now in a cation, hence the atomic size reduces, and always cationic radius is smaller than atomic radius of a particular element. This was the case of sodium. So you could see that the shell is also disappearing. Suppose I take example of magnesium. Okay, instead of sodium, if I take example of magnesium forming cation. Okay. Now Mg, first losing 1 electron. Both the electrons are not lost in single step. Magnesium electronic configuration from 12 is 2, 8 and 2. Okay. Now 2, 8 and 2. To become stable, this will lose 2 electrons, but they will be lost one by one in 2 steps. So first step, magnesium is having proton number 12, electron number also 12. Clear? Now it loses 1 electron and becomes Mg1 positive. In the second step, it will lose another electron and will become Mg2 positive. Now we will talk about this stage. In this stage, the configuration is 2, 8 and 1. Proton number is still 12, but electron number is 11. Now again, if you see and you draw the structure for magnesium, so this will be nucleus having proton and neutron, first shell, second shell and third shell. Okay, 3 shells are here. It is having 2 electrons, 8 electrons and 2 electrons in the third one. Now when it forms Mg1 positive, that time also what is there? More protons are pulling less electrons. Here 1 electron is lost, so what is left is only 1 electron. That means even if when shell is not lost, then also atomic size reduces when cation is formed. So loss of shell is not the reason for reduction in size. What is the reason? That proton number is more than electron number. Is it clear? So furthermore, when Mg2 positive is formed, size will be reduced more. 3 positive for any substance, any element, then the size will be further more. More is the charge, less will be the size of the cation. Okay. So always cationic radius is less than the atomic radius. Now the same thing we will see for anionic radius. This is clear for cationic radius? Is it okay? Say yes or no. Whatever. Anyone? Is it clear? Okay. Alvina, you said yes. Okay, now next is anionic radius. Okay, anionic radius, how it is formed? When we take example of any anion, let us take oxygen. Okay, oxygen atomic number is 8, proton number 8, electron number also 8. Distribution of 8 is 2 and 6. Okay, then 2 and 6 I will make here. Proton number is 8, electron number is also 8, having 2 electrons in the first shell and 6 electrons in the second shell. Now oxygen wants to become stable by taking 2 electrons. So O8 takes 1 electron in the first step and becomes O1 negative. And in the next step, it takes 1 more electron and becomes O2 negative. Clear? Now when it forms O1 negative, now it is known as anion. Okay. When it is anion, proton number is still 8, but electron number has now become 9 because it has taken 1 electron extra. Now 6 were there. Now after addition of 1 electron, they have become 7 electrons, not 6. Okay. In this 7 plus 2, total 9. When it forms this, proton number is still 8. Electron number now has become 10. That means this 7 now after taking 1 more electron, it will become 8 electrons like this. Okay. So what is happening in this case when we are taking anions? Now in this case what will happen? Proton 8, electron 9. So more electrons are being pulled by less protons. Opposite of this. Okay. P is equal to 8. Electrons are 9. Now in this case, less number of protons are pulling more number of electrons. So the pull will be reduced. When pull will be less, then the atomic size will become little larger. Here furthermore, 8 protons are only attracting, only 8 protons are attracting 10 electrons. Okay. Then again the attraction will be less, and because of this atomic size will become larger. So always a statement we can write that always anionic radius is larger than atomic radius. Clear? Anionic radius is larger than atomic radius. The reason, only in terms of attraction you will give. I am repeating this again and again because many times students answer this, that because shell is not there so size automatically reduces. This is not the correct reasoning. Correct reasoning is only on the basis of attraction, which is reduced or increased, as is the case. In anions, that attraction is reduced. In case of cation, that attraction is increased. Is that clear? Okay, so this is all about your topic atomic radius. Clear? Now we come to the second property. So as a summary, can I write that in a periodic table, in a period, if we talk in a period, atomic radius decreases. Okay, downward arrow decreases. In a group, atomic radius increases. Okay, this is the summary of the point which we have discussed. Okay, now we come to the next topic, that is your ionization enthalpy, or you can say ionization energy in simple words. Okay, now what is ionization enthalpy or energy? We just discussed that. Again we have to start with the example of sodium. Okay, if I take example of sodium, then sodium is a metal. Okay, so metal is in solid state. When a solid metal atom is converted into a gaseous atom, this is the first step. Okay, when a solid sodium atom is converted into a gaseous sodium atom, after that what happens? This sodium forms Na1 positive. How it forms Na1 positive? We have seen that if Na has 3 shells, first having 2 electrons, second having 8 electrons, and third one having 1 electron, sodium wants to lose this electron because it wants to become stable with 2 and 8. So this is overall theory behind it. So this electron has to be lost. When this electron has to be lost, see, there is attraction between protons which are present inside and the electrons which are outside. So all of a sudden an electron cannot be lost because it is already attracted by the proton. So to pull out this electron from this shell, some energy is needed. Without energy it cannot be lost. Without spending some energy it cannot be lost. Okay, so when a sodium solid atom is converted into gaseous atom, and from that gaseous atom, the amount of energy required to remove an electron from a isolated gaseous atom. Isolated means metal atoms are always present in a bulk. So it is a theoretical process. Actually we are not doing. See, sodium is forming Na positive on its own. We have no role in that. Sodium forms NaCl on its own. So we are not forming anything like this. But actually theoretically if we talk about it, so what is ionization enthalpy? Ionization enthalpy is the amount of energy required to remove an electron, -1 electron, from a isolated gaseous atom. Okay, that energy is known as ionization energy. So that energy has to be supplied. So that is delta H IE, in short it is called. And because it is supplied, so its value will be positive. Any energy which is given to a substance or a reaction, it is always mentioned as positive. And any energy which is released is given as negative sign. So delta H IE, ionization enthalpy, is positive for a atom if electron is removed. Clear? So this is about ionization enthalpy. Now When we know that this is ionization enthalpy, then we should know that what factors affect the value of ionization enthalpy. That what are the factors which are affecting this ionization enthalpy, this we will discuss. So the first factor which affects ionization enthalpy, factors affecting IE in periodic table, not anywhere else. Okay, in periodic table, if we see, then from left to right, that means again we talk hydrogen, then helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. These two periods are sufficient to understand. When we move from left to right, what we observe, that atomic size decreases, means the size of the atom is reducing. Okay, now when size of the atom is reducing or decreasing, what will happen? Size is small, that means the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell is less. If the size of atom is big, that means the distance between outermost orbit shell and the proton is more. So this is, suppose a bigger, this one is a bigger atom, this one is a smaller atom. Now what will happen? This is bigger atom, this is a smaller atom. Moving from left to right, the atomic size decreases. Why it decreases? We have discussed yesterday. Because electrons are added in the same shell, so size is shrinking because of more pull. Okay. Now, when the distance is less, what will happen? The pull of this positive charge is more on this electron which is present here. So, more energy will be required to pull this electron. On the other hand, if the distance between the nucleus and the outermost shell where the last electron is present, suppose in case of sodium 2, 8 and 1, this last electron. So this last electron is present here. If the distance is more, then definitely attraction between this and this electron is less. When attraction is less, then less energy is required to pull that electron. Clear? So, if we see in a periodic table, because lithium has the biggest size in this particular period and fluorine has the smallest size in this particular period. So, smallest size means the most difficulty will be there to remove electron from fluorine. The least difficulty will be there to remove electron from lithium because its size is small. Sorry, its size is big. Its size is big and its size is small. So, in a period from left to right, when we move, the value of ionization enthalpy increases. You see, in a period, atomic radius decreases. In a period, atomic radius decreases. And just now we said that ionization enthalpy increases. So, both are opposite. Atomic radius is decreasing, so ionization enthalpy will increase. Clear? If anything is not clear, you have to ask. Otherwise, I will not know. Factors affecting ionization enthalpy in periodic tables. The first factor we have discussed, that is, from left to right, nuclear charge affects the value of ionization enthalpy. In which manner? That because of increased nuclear charge, the value of ionization enthalpy is increasing. Clear? Now, next. From top to bottom in a periodic table. Top to bottom in a periodic table means what? Lithium was here, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. This is a group. So we had talked about lithium just now. Then lithium, beryllium and then boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine and neon. This was period. Now this is a group. When we go in a group from top to bottom, what we observe about the atomic radius, that From lithium to sodium, from sodium to potassium, potassium to rubidium. What is happening? Number of shells are increasing. Number of shells are increasing. Why? Because the period number is increasing. This is period number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So the number of shells here are 3, here 4, 5, 6 and 7. So number of shells are more. So number of shells are more means distance is more from the nucleus. More is the distance, less is the attraction. So as we move from top to bottom, because atomic size is increasing, so ionization enthalpy value will also decrease. So atomic radius and ionization enthalpy have opposite values. Clear? In a group, atomic radius increases because number of shells are increasing, and effective nuclear charge is cancelled because of the increase in number of shells. This we have discussed yesterday. Now because of that, ionization enthalpy value is decreasing. So in a particular group, cesium, again because francium value is not known to us, cesium has the lowest value of ionization enthalpy. It has the largest value of atomic radius, so lowest value of ionization enthalpy, opposite. In particular period also, and in overall periodic table also. Why in overall periodic table? Because from here, from lithium to that side we are moving. It has the highest value. Okay, it has highest value for ionization enthalpy. Then from highest value, if we move down, the value will gradually decrease because of the number of shells are increasing. So in this particular period, if we talk, this has the lowest value of ionization enthalpy. And again from this to this, when we are moving, this has the lowest. So it is clear that this has the lowest value of IE in the whole periodic table. Clear? So lowest value of ionization enthalpy is here. Clear? So these are the two factors which affect the values of ionization enthalpy simply. Simply two factors are there. Other than this, there are some other factors which also affect this. If these two factors are only present, that means if one factor present is that size of atom, nuclear charge from left to right, another factor number of shells from top to bottom. Other than this, two more factors are there which affect this regular trend. According to this, what should happen? That when we are moving from left to right, gradually the value of ionization enthalpy should go on increasing. Means value for boron should be more than, for carbon should be more than boron, then nitrogen should have more than carbon, oxygen should have more than nitrogen, and fluorine should have more than oxygen, because from left to right the value is gradually increasing. Similarly, boron should have more value than beryllium, because left to right the value should increase gradually. But we observe at two places the regular trend is not followed. When beryllium should have, what is actually according to the trend, beryllium should have less and boron should have more IE. It should be like this on regular trend basis, because left to right nuclear charge is increasing, boron nuclear charge is more than the charge of beryllium. So ionization enthalpy of boron should be more than the ionization enthalpy of beryllium. But IE of beryllium is more than IE of boron. Though according to the nuclear charge rule it should not happen. According to this rule, this nuclear charge rule, what should happen? IE of boron should be more than IE of beryllium, because it should increase in this manner. At second place, what should be there? When we compare nitrogen and oxygen, then ionization enthalpy of oxygen should be more than ionization enthalpy of nitrogen according to rule. But again here there is a irregularity. Ionization enthalpy of nitrogen is more than ionization enthalpy of oxygen. So opposite of it should happen. Now why these two things are there, we have to understand. Okay, we'll understand these two things. And in periodic table, these abnormalities or irregularities are the important points of questions always, because regular trend everybody can tell this is happening from left to right and top to bottom, but why these abnormalities or irregularities are there, this is the important thing which should be remembered by you. Okay, now two more factors will come into action to understand this. What are those two more factors? This we'll see. Okay, the first factor is penetration effect, and the second factor is extra stability of half filled and full-filled orbitals. Okay, whenever these two conditions will come into play, then the values which were normally going from left to right or top to bottom, they will be affected and there will be irregularity. Now what is penetration effect? Penetration effect is something that we know when we talk about SP. No ink is working. SP, D and F. These are the name of your subshells. Shape of S we had discussed, it is spherical. Shape of P we had discussed, it is dumbbell shape. Shape of D is double dumbbell. Okay, and F is not defined. Okay, diffuse shape it has. So when we talk about the shapes of the orbitals, because S orbital or S subshell is spherical in shape, so around nucleus, this is nucleus, around nucleus this S subshell or S orbital is present. Then P, if we talk, then P is present like this. This is just the imagination which we can understand. The simple structure for atom we make different, like this, one nucleus, first number shell, second number shell, but actual structure is like this. So when we talk about S, then S orbital is spherical, so the distribution of electron in this S is uniform. Means when protons attract these electrons, there are two electrons which are present in it and they are all the time moving around. So when these electrons are pulled by the protons present in the nucleus, then these electrons are pulled uniformly from all the sides because of the uniform shape of the S orbital. So the penetration effect, this is called penetration effect. So the penetration effect of S orbital is uniform and electrons are more strongly attracted by the nucleus if they are present in S. So because of more strong attraction, if you want to lose those electrons, more energy will be required. Okay. On the other hand, P orbital, because it is diffuse shape, it is the shape of a dumbbell. So attraction of these electrons by the proton is less as compared to S. So less attraction means easy removal. So if an electron of the same subshell, suppose we talk about the same subshell number 2. If an electron is present in 2s and an electron is present in 2p and it has to be removed, then the electron which is present in P will be removed easily as compared to the electron which is present in S because of the more strong attraction in S because of its uniform, or you can say spherical shape. This is its penetration effect. So penetration effect of S is highest, then P, then D, and then F. So because of penetration effect factor when comes into action, there will be change in this property. Okay. Then second factor is extra stability of half-filled and full-filled orbitals. Okay. This we had discussed when we were doing Pauli's exclusion principle and other things. So I told you that whenever half-filled condition will come, that all orbitals are half-filled. For example, we talk about p subshell. So if p subshell is having 3 electrons, 1 each, then this is an extra stable condition. It is difficult to pull out electron from this stable condition. Or on the other hand, if it is completely full, then also this is an extra stable condition, and when such condition arises, extra energy is required to pull electrons if required. Clear? So whenever these two factors will come into action, there will be abnormality in the trend of ionization enthalpy or any other factor also. Clear this thing? So because of this reason, which anomalies we have discussed here too, ionization enthalpy of barium is more than beryllium, beryllium is more than boron, and ionization enthalpy of nitrogen is more than oxygen. Now today we will stop here because the explanation of it will start and it will take time to complete. Okay, but you will think that those 2 points which I have told you, what 2 points? Penetration effect and the second point, extra stability. You will draw the electronic configuration of both these and you will think that which factor is applicable in which case. In case of nitrogen, in case of beryllium, which factor is applicable, and because of that this trend has got reversed.